It is Luke Skywalker Friday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This evening, let us play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Here we go. Quick overview. We're going to begin with Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up, continue with Anu Yoga's energy work, and Ati Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. And then we shall conclude with Mahayoga's compassionate cool down. Cowabunga. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. It is known by many names, but we can call it Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. Let us begin by... Oops, you know what? I'm on the wrong page. I'm on the wrong text, and don't I feel like a silly goose? Okay, here we go. Take two, and thank you for your indulgence. We're going to begin with the first of four phases of mindful crease counting. The luxury electric vehicle of mindfulness and meditation traverses the smooth road afforded to us by Anu Yoga's energy work. Now, there are many flavors of energy work, but personally I find mudra or finger gesture oriented energy work to be most efficient. Over the span of 12 repetitions, we could advance our right thumb thusly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, if you would like to multiply that by 12, you can use your left hand, not to count repetitions, but sets of repetitions. Our first set of 12 repetitions, our second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth set of 12 repetitions, our seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th set of 12 repetitions. Now, ideally, this evening, we will gather 4 collections. We can keep track of our first collection of 12 sets of 12 repetitions by resting, the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so, we could gently invite our subtle energies to gather in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Now, yes, this is a trifle ungainly, but repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams every 12 hours, and within a week or two, you could master this cycle of teachings. Now that you know what to do with your fingers, let us explore what to do with your mind. What if enlightenment was simply mastery of Gautama the Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what do we mean by mastery? I've never encountered a human infant who was born already knowing how to use the toilet, how to tie their shoes, how to brush their teeth, or how to ride a bicycle. However, most children, by the time they're ready to enter first grade, are already so good at those things that they can practice them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. That is mastery. So my thesis is this: by getting really good, we practice the seventh fold, which is mindfulness, and the eighth fold, which is meditation. When you do so regularly, perhaps once every 12 hours or so, we will spontaneously experience the remaining 6 folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Therefore, I think it makes perfect sense to explore mindfulness and meditation through the lens of neuroscience. After approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, that 90% of people are unwittingly following the example of the Buddha's foolish cousin, Devadatta, who felt it was brilliant to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, so much so they looked down upon his cousin Gautama and his attributes of being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. And so when these rigid and controlling people find students to teach, they waste no time in imploring them to actively focus and actively analyze. However, the only parts of our brain that are capable of those things are the networks found in the discrete networks found in regions such as the medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Now, this prefrontal cortex is overworked easily, and once it's overworked, it triggers the almond-shaped amygdala right down here, which is the seat of anxiety and aggression. And so how deeply, darkly ironic it is that when we turn to mindfulness and meditation, hoping to receive an increase in peace and love, instead we're given instructions for the opposite of mindfulness and meditation, which is focus and analysis, and which bear fruit to the opposite of peace and love, which is anxiety and aggression. Good news, though. Neither this prefrontal cortex nor this amygdala are the only components of our central nervous system. And so let's explore other regions of our central nervous system. We'll begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, evolution has wired us to automatically access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us notice in a very special way, to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But notice what? Notice mind's antics of perception. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, such as emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Now, this is a whole lot of stuff. how do we do it easily and effortlessly? Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we gently induce our brain to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system. However, there's still an unanswered question. All these things that we can notice can feel overwhelming. What are we to do with them? And that brings us to meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, evolution has already wired us to effortlessly access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release, to the point of releasing what we perceived during our previous inhalation, as if what we had perceived was as impermanent. So, for that which we perceive is impermanent. And impermanence makes of grasping an absurdity. And once we viscerally experience the impermanence of what we perceive, it could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. And a good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although it could be tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand? And that is exactly why we say that simply by practicing mindfulness and meditation, the realization of impermanence and literal impermanence and figurative emptiness becomes an inevitability. And so, together as a team, let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. And in so doing, induce our brain to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system. This brings us to the second of 4 phases of mindful crease counting. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we wish to multiply that by 12, we can enlist the assistance of our left hand. Not to count additional repetitions, but sets of repetitions. We can count 1 set of 12 repetitions, 2, 3 sets, 4, 5, 6 sets of 12 repetitions, 7, 8, 9 sets, 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 repetitions. Now this is our second collection of 144 repetitions. And so what we can do to keep track of it is rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our subtle energies to coalesce at the navel region of our mid-abdomen. I'd like to explore the second of 4 benefits of mindfulness and meditation after I take a moment to review how it works. The key to vulnerably watching the play of mind is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The key to relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Do this regularly, perhaps once every 12 hours or so, and you could notice that your amygdala's anxiety and aggression are calmed, are quelled. At least it'll take the edge off, which will undermine our propensity for cruel intentions, cruel communication, cruel conduct, or commerce marred by both competition and cruelty. Come, let us practice together right now. We come now to our third of 4 phases of mindful crease counting. Excuse me. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb thusly, beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. To multiply this by 12, we could count on our left hand, not repetitions, but just sets. For instance, we could count our first set of 12 repetitions, our second, third set of 12 repetitions, our third, fourth, fifth set, our fourth, fifth, sixth set of 12 repetitions, our seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th set of 12 repetitions. To keep track of this, our third collection of 12 sets of 12 repetitions, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently coalesce or invite our subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. Before I explain the third benefit of the regular practice of mindfulness and meditation, I'd like to take a moment to remind you of how to practice the essence of mindfulness. The most efficient way to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The most efficient way to train in meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, causing us to release what we perceived during our previous inhalation. Doing so could help us to viscerally experience impermanence. Impermanence makes of grasping an absurdity. And so as we release that which we perceived, it could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is most certainly non-graspable to the hand. Train in this mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, and you could observe the stimulation of your anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, which is the bedrock of compassion and love. This is why the late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love was not the contrived practice of focusing and analyzing, au contraire, but rather the uncontrived, spontaneous byproduct of simply perceiving and releasing whatever cartwheels across the stage of our mind. Doing so makes possible kind intention, kind communication, kind conduct, and the commerce, which is compassionate and cooperative. Whoop, still a little too big. Let's make that a little smaller. right, so together as a team, let's meditate. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as mirror-like wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever greed we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as discerning wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever befuddlement we might have noticed during our previous inhalation can feel as non-graspable as all-pervasive wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our previous inhalation can feel as non-graspable as all-accomplishing wisdom. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as equalizing wisdom.